me a little bit more about your upcoming in that business world where you got to this spot to where you're consulting with businesses.
And when I came back to St. Pete, it was different than how I had left it.
With the Winner Circle, what's next? Where do you see the vision? Where's that going?
We talk about dollars because we're business owners, but what that represents is lives changed in communities.
Ready when you are, yeah?
I'm ready.
Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome back to Talkin St. Pete. I am your host, Ryan Bogdan. Before we get into today's amazing guest, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Bogdan Homes. So if you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest here in the local greater Tampa Bay area, please find our contact information in the description below. And now, on to our gorgeous guest, Erica Vellanti, the co-founder of the Winner Circle St. Pete, is here with us today. Erica, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, man. You got great energy.
Oh, I try to bring it.
You
know?
do.
I try to bring it. And it's Friday, so we're jazzed up.
All right. Well, I'm ready. I'm here.
Yeah. Yes, and you are you and your husband, Nick. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
you guys have a fun story. We'll have to dive into that about the whole eloping thing and your fun adventures going out west. But you have started this networking group called the Winner Circle here in St. Pete, in which I just became a part of recently. And thank you for having me, first of all.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped that you're a part of it, especially before we did this, so you could kind of get a feel for it and meet some of our awesome people.
That's what it's all about. St. Pete's just filled with such cool people, and I think bringing them together in the way that you guys are is really cool. So how did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, so funny story. So I was born and raised in Largo, Florida, lived there for 29 years, opened my first business there, which is a whole other story. But when I was 29, I went on my adventure out west, and I moved to California, to Santa Barbara, for 4.5 years. And I came back in 2021. Nick and I met in 2022. And in that time period, I had been working with some pretty high-level business owners, 6, 7, 8-figure companies. I was flown all over the world, like Australia and the UK, and yeah, all these things, right? Super cool experience. And when I came back to St. Pete, it was different than how I had left it. And I was like, wow, like there is this thriving entrepreneurial community. Everybody's moving and shaking. And so I started looking into like local networking groups and ways that I could get connected and like find my tribe here again. And I found a lot of really great groups. There were a lot of groups that were kind of social clubs, you know, just networking. There was a lot of groups that were, you know, only for women or only for men, or like a specific type of business, the BNI, which is kind of tried and true, right? But I'm like, where are the groups for successful small business owners to come together, to network, to collaborate, and to also learn and grow? And I couldn't find one. So I talked to Nick about it, and we were just kind of rolling this idea around. And so the funny part is, I was on the massage table one day.
That's where good ideas come.
Literally.
The shower and the massage table.
Yes. Face down on the massage table. And this idea, the Winner Circle, comes into my head. And I'm like, I'm trying to relax during this massage. And my heart rate starts going up. I'm like, oh, this sounds cool. Like, this sounds like something I want to be a part of.
It's your own idea. You're like, yeah, that's good.
Well, that's how I know if it's a good idea.
Yeah.
If I'm into it, then I know that there's probably going to be other people that are into it. So I came home right away. I was like, Nick, what do you think about this idea of us actually creating a group for small business owners in the area of all different kinds, to bring them together and to deliver some high-level coaching? So we put together the idea of the Winner Circle and, like, you know, got our logo and all this stuff. And Nick was there, like, doing wax seals on, like, invitations.
Nice. No, it's luxury. It's high end. You guys have done a good job with that.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we wanted that feel, you know, because a lot of the social groups, it's like real drinking heavy, and we don't drink, you know, we live a pretty clean lifestyle, you know, and I wanted something for people like us,
right?
You know, and so we had a launch party in January of 2022. 3 this year.
January, right?
Yeah, in January, and it's been a go ever since. It's been great.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. And your guys' format is unique and cool because there's like learning involved and like networking and masterminding together. So I like the vibe.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really a hybrid of like everything that I've ever learned and done, right? So it's not just a networking group, right? It's not just everybody comes and hangs out. It's not just coaching. It's really a hybrid. So our live events are kind of the anchor point for what we do and bringing everybody together in person. But in addition to that, we also have really high level coaches that coach on the areas of like marketing and sales and profit optimization, entrepreneur mindset, and digital marketing, that type of thing.
Yeah. No, it's a whole world involved rather than just the in-person thing, and it definitely, like I said, this is my second time seeing you guys this week. It's like we are fam now.
We are fam.
We are fam. Within the niche of St. Pete and all of the entrepreneurs, I think it's it's just a cool concept, a great idea, because there are so many movers and shakers here, high-level thinkers, operators, people who are doing some awesome things. And the cool thing that I like about St. Pete and the fact is that you would never know. People are dressed down, hanging out. You never know who you're walking by on the sidewalk. So when you meet someone in these settings, you're like, wow, that's cool. I had no idea.
Really, it is. It is. Everybody's really low key. Sometimes I'd play this game of like homeless or CEO. No, but I love that because, there's not that, coming back from California, not saying anything bad about California. I had a great time there. But what I can say about Florida is there is not a level of pretentiousness. People are just real people. They'll let you have a conversation, get to know them, and then you'll find out that there's some like multi-billionaire that's been successful for many years,
Right. Yeah, no idea.
Yeah.
It's funny you said about the homeless or like business owner or whatever, because we had from utilities helper, Elijah Ramsey was on the podcast, and every morning he's out of Vinoy in a hoodie and a blanket with his dog, sipping his coffee, watching the sunrise, and he goes, people definitely think I'm homeless.
Yeah.
But he loves it. It's like his time. So, but I don't know, it made me think of that when you said that. Okay, so you got the winner's circle going, but you what was that like when you came back from California? Did you, had you visited to know that St. Pete was evolving? I love talking about that, because especially for you to be like, oh, I was here, I left and came back and was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah. So I lived... Once I moved out of my parents' house, the first thing I did was bought a condo when I was 19 years old. And that was in Seminole, Florida. And I had a business in Seminole, Florida, which was actually a martial arts school. So I was really involved in kind of the family scene there. So my escape in my 20s was going to St. Pete, and then back in the Baywalk days. I don't know if you remember Baywalk.
I wasn't here. I don't know.
Okay.
Inform us. What were the Baywalk days?
So where Sundial is now.
Oh, right. It
used to be called Baywalk,
I did
right?
know that, yes.
And so I would kind of go there and escape and just feel like I was in a whole different world. But when I came back, I was like, where do I want to live? And I came down to St. Pete and I see like rainbow painted streets and like dope murals and art everywhere and like more people than I remembered. And I just loved like it. I feel like St. Pete has really stepped up its game in terms of like inclusivity and equality and, just supporting all different types of people as well as the arts. And then in addition to that, there's this like super awesome entrepreneurial community. And I was like, this is hitting all of my points.
Yeah. It's like you came to a new place.
I did.
Yeah.
It was wonderful to come home to.
I bet. Okay. So now I was just thinking about, so tell us about your guys' wedding. Like you decided to elope, you're going out west, right? Like what, so how did you, let's get into that. I'm curious of your guys' backstory.
This is actually kind of an interesting story because Nick and I came up with this idea for the Winner's Circle in October of 2022. Okay, we were not engaged at the time. He proposed on Christmas Eve that year.
Nice job.
He's sitting over there. So he proposed. 4 days later, we get a puppy.
Oh,
a Pomeranian puppy, and 1.5 pounds of fluff.
nice.
Okay. Then we launched the business on January 11th.
Boom, boom, boom. You just had like 2 kids back to back practically.
Yeah, pretty much.
A business as a child.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So we were like engaged and in it immediately. And so we knew that we didn't want anything super big. Like both of us were kind of on the same level with that. And so one day Nick sits down, he's got his computer open and he's looking at pictures, and they're beautiful pictures of, they look like rainforests, like magical rainforests. And I thought they were somewhere in like, Beijing or, Costa Rica or whatever. And I was like, where is this? And he's like, oh, this is the Ho rainforest, HOH. Keep it together.
Keep it together. Keep it together. Yeah.
The HOH, Ho Rainforest in Olympic National Forest in Washington State. And I'm like, are you looking at places for our wedding? And he's like, well, actually, I was looking for a screensaver for my laptop. But that's cool. And so we started talking about it. And then we decided that we just wanted to elope, just the 2 of us, and like planned this whole thing, with the dress and the suit. We hired an elopement photographer, all this good stuff, right?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah. They like know all the secret places to go.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So we planned that, right? And that's actually happening September 25th.
Which is a couple days away.
Couple days away. We're flying out.
Yep.
And what we had decided was we wanted to just like sign our marriage certificate here. So it's like done and dusted, not make a big deal, and then go there. And that's our whole wedding thing. Well, as it turns out, I was like, well, we go to the courthouse. We're having to like raise our right hand, do all of this. And they're like, you need an officiant. And we're like, oh, well, neither of us have done this before. So we're like, oh, shoot. Well, you know what? Maybe let's gather like a little group of friends. We'll like notarize the thing and go out on a boat. Well, it turns out we wound up having like a mini wedding. One of our friends was an ordained officiant who had never done a wedding ever before.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's like, I'll do it. And we're like, cool. And he's like, well, and he kind of talked us through like, how do you want to do this? We're like, we don't know. And so, we wound up creating this ceremony. Like my sister and her boyfriend and like 5 of our friends were there. And we got married in our bathing suits.
Hey, no better thing than that. Right?
Yeah. Our officiant had like rubber duckies on his, which I loved.
That sounds like a fun time.
It was a great time. And we got like 24 donuts from our favorite donut shop. We went out on the boat and just like hung out on floaties. It was the best.
It says a lot about your guys' spirit. Fun and good, and you can feel the energy. So I love that.
Thank you.
So now you're going out to Washington State.
Yes.
And we'll be with the elopement photographer.
Yeah.
Just you 2.
Yeah.
And we'll create magic in the rainforest.
Yes.
Not the rainforest, but the forest.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it is both, right? The forest and the rainforest. So yeah, big, beautiful, statuesque trees and giant ferns and waterfalls, the whole 9.
I like it. Back to business.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about your upcoming in that business world, where you got to this spot to where you're consulting with businesses and getting flown to Australia and all that. Give us the rundown. How did that come to be?
Yeah, it has been quite a journey.
Because you started in the martial arts.
I did. So when I was 15 years old, let me back up. I grew up in a martial arts family. My dad was the first American in history to win the world championship in Okinawa, Japan.
Whoa.
Yeah. Big deal.
That's sweet.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Not for dating, though, let me just tell you.
Right.
But it was awesome.
You've met Dad, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So he actually, my dad had this dream. I come from a very visionary family, and he's like, I want to build this amazing martial arts school in Largo, Florida, and he built it the way that they have their martial arts schools in Okinawa, Japan. So that means our house was attached to the back of it.
Right. Okay. I can see this.
There's literally a door between our personal residence and our family business.
So you were really in it.
I was in it to win it, man.
Yeah.
In it to win it.
The fam, like you ate breakfast and walked into
100%.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So I started working with my dad when I was 14, just doing office work, which I hated. $5 an hour under the table.
Way to go, Pop.
I know. Yeah, just have kids, make money. There we go. So I started doing that when I was 15. I'm like, you know what? I really want to open a school just like my dad. So I came to him, I told him that, and he told me that he was like elated and terrified at the same time because he had struggled for so many years trying to figure out the business model. He was the man when it came to martial arts, right? But when it came to the business, that's a whole different skill set.
100%.
Yeah. And so he joined this consulting group in Jacksonville, Florida with a bunch of Taekwondo guys, which, you know, in martial arts, there's like this rivalry. You know, we do karate, you do Taekwondo. And so I would, at 16 years old, I would go with him and give up my teenage weekends to go sit in a room with like 45-year-old hardcore martial arts dudes learning how to run a business. And I would just like take notes. And then I would come home and I would start implementing in my father's business.
Got it.
And in that first year that we started doing that, he and I kind of went back to back. The business exploded.
Oh, cool.
It was amazing. And like, I was super stoked on it. And I was like, I definitely want to do this with my whole life. And so when I was 18, my dad and I kind of drove by a little shopping center in Seminole, Florida, and found a little retail space and wound up opening my school. It was the first branch location we ever had. So I was 18.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so it was a really cool dynamic because my dad and all of his, you know, martial arts guys were doing this amazing build out inside of the retail space with like a Japanese tile roof, an elevated training floor, a massive like torii gate. And I would go out in the neighborhoods, this is before social media, and like pound the pavement.
Knocking on doors.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I would knock on some doors.
Love that. Love that.
I would also go to like parks where my ideal families are, right? My ideal client. I'd go to parks and I'd like have my little business cards and I would talk to moms with kids and invite them in for 30 days free. And so in our first year, we did about like $350K in revenue, which for martial arts schools nationwide, the average is like they're grossing like $100K a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys did 3X.
We did. And so it was amazing. And then, you know, things went really well. Then this thing you might know about called the Great Recession happened.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was really hard because, you know, we're working with families that don't have a ton of discretionary income. And so our student numbers started dropping, even though people loved martial arts. You know, I had a mom one time, it was Thanksgiving time, you know, right when that crash happened. And she's like, Erica, my oven broke. And I can either pay to fix my oven for Thanksgiving or I can pay for martial arts.
Yikes, that's tough.
It was rough.
Yeah.
So my dad and I kind of came together and I decided that I wanted to start an after school and summer camp program to compete with the local daycares because we could offer martial arts and homework help and do something that's more age appropriate for school age children versus their daycares are really set up for like the infants and toddlers.
Right.
So we started this after school and summer camp program. And it was a game changer. And for 3 consecutive years, our revenue grew by 30%. 3 years.
In hard times.
In very hard times. And so by 2013, I remember having this belt testing where I had all my students there and it was so packed and hot. And parents are like, you need a bigger facility. So my dad and I came together again and we found this amazing property like a mile and a half away from my current location at the time. Mm-hmm. It was a 10,000 square foot commercial property on a 1/4 acre of land. Big. Yeah. It had a gymnasium. It had portable classrooms in the back. And so we moved the school in there. We got an SBA loan and we did the build out all ourselves. Like there's pictures of us like hammering walls and the whole nine.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah. Balling on a budget, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Bootstrapping.
That's right. So we built it out, and it was amazing. And so by the time I was 26 years old, I was managing 26 employees. I was sponsoring 7 different elementary schools locally. I had hundreds of kids like that I'm picking up from school and managing summer camp. It was awesome.
That's cool. So you have all this background experience with running, you know, the family martial arts studio. That's really bringing you up at an early age, getting lots of repetition to see different marketing ideas, tough times. It's coming up. And so what happened? Where was the shift from there when you came into different businesses? Were you applying practices that you learned from that? Did you have a mentorship somewhere else?
So I decided to exit the family business, turn it over to my dad, and I wanted to kind of do something bigger. And I decided that my first step into the consulting world was to work with other martial arts school owners. So I partnered up with a guy in Tampa who was also running similar programs, and we created a company called Martial Arts Success Team. And we wound up teaching martial arts school owners across the country how to implement these after school and summer camp program systems. And these guys were consistently adding like 6 figures per year to their business.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that was another launching point for me because we became the top consulting company in the industry in 2.5 years.
That's really cool.
It was really cool.
I mean, you're helping, bring money to the bottom line. People are going to say yes to that.
Yeah. And the thing that did it for me is like, we talk about dollars because we're business owners, but what that represents is lives changed in communities. Like these guys were able to significantly expand their impact and change thousands more lives than they ever would have before. And that's what really motivated me.
Yeah, no, that's cool. You're right. Like, because as the business grows, it's more people in the community, stronger community within the community.
Yeah. Doing good things.
Win-win situations.
Yeah. So once I kind of like hit what I thought was the peak there, I'm always kind of pushing the next thing, right?
Of course.
And I'm like, I really want to branch out. I want to help other business owners. And so from there, I sold my equity to my partner in that company. They have taken off and done amazing things, him and his wife, with that business. Cool. And then I went out on my own, and that's when I started working with some of these companies that I mentioned, the companies in Australia and the UK and, all over, which California was a good point for me there because I was able to make some really good connections. Yeah. And so that's how
it happened. Oh, yeah. That's an awesome backstory.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's cool. Think of martial arts studio as a business and what has to go in there to see at such a young age and now apply it to all facets of different businesses is cool. And now you have the winner circle is here and we get to benefit from that. So it's cool.
It is, and there's fundamentals that I learned from 16 years old that I still teach to business owners today.
Yeah. Business hasn't changed that much.
Yeah.
Some marketing tactics here and there, but the fundamentals are the fundamentals.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So St. Pete, what are you guys doing when you're not working and you have a little downtime in the area? Yes.
So one of our favorite things to do is get out on the water. Like, I'm a total water baby.
Nice.
And my man's got me a paddleboard last year. And it was like the best present ever. So we kind of have this mission to find like secret spots. And he loves kayaking and I go paddling. And we love to be out on the water predominantly.
So can you share one of your spots?
I mean, I can.
Or maybe one that's known that.
Yeah.
Where do you go? I don't know where to go.
So I am gonna share a secret spot.
Okay. Well, listen up. Tune in.
Okay. So there is. Oh my gosh! It's off of what is that street? The mangrove one, the canal. Oh. There's a little neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Okay, and is it 54th? Puryear Park. That's it.
Okay.
Puryear Park. Okay. So you go through this neighborhood to Puryear Park, and there's this real sketchy looking kayak launch. Okay. It's into a canal. The water is like black. I'm pretty sure that when I went there the first time, something big jumped in the water. I think it was an alligator. Okay. There's mosquitoes. Wear bug spray. Okay. However, you go about 10 minutes through this canal, and then it opens up to this pristine mangrove sanctuary. Okay, we've seen sharks in there, like little baby sharks under the board.
You've mentioned alligators, sharks, mosquitoes, dark black water, but I promise it's worth it. I promise.
I'm like, am I Florida woman here? Is that what's happening?
Okay, keep going.
Poor guy's from Pennsylvania. He's like, we don't do any
Hold
of this.
on a second. No, I'm just looking for people listening and saying, what? You want to go where?
But like we've also seen dolphins and manatees and just amazing schools of fish, and there is never anybody out there. So I might regret telling people about this.
I don't know. I think the alligators and the sharks are going to fend off most of the people. It's only going to be the real diehards that'll be out there.
They're like baby sharks, okay? I'm not talking like Jaws or anything.
Right.
But it's actually like quite magical. Like when you're there on top of the water and you're just seeing like all the wildlife live its life.
Yeah.
It's just so relaxing.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I like that. I like that. Okay. Where do you guys like to go eat?
Oh, okay.
You're ready for this one.
I am. We're foodies.
Yeah.
We love food. So let me tell you, I'm going to tell you the most slept on restaurant
All right, let's hear it.
in St. Pete.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So I love a good breakfast. And
Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah, favorite meal of the day. So now I'm
Okay.
here. I'm here.
Okay, you're gonna love this place. It's a place called City's Bistro.
Okay.
It's off of 4th Street.
Yeah.
It's run by this husband and wife, kind of older couple. Jan is the woman, and she is like the grandmother that you wish you had. Like, she always welcomes you with a smile. She remembers your name. And they serve you free, home-baked, fresh, every day mini muffins, just as like a thank you for showing up.
Nice.
Okay, they are divine. And they're everything on their breakfast menu, literally everything, is amazing. And like my favorite thing is this like breakfast croissant sandwich with brie cheese, ham, egg, and a raspberry jalapeno jam.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, City's Bistro.
City's Bistro.
Okay, that's the spot.
It is. It is. You won't regret it.
Well, okay. I is that where the cookies are from?
That's where the cookies are from.
Yeah, the cookies are good.
They're good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're a part of the Winter Circle, Erica always has cookies at the beginning of the meeting, and they're divine, as you would say.
They are. They
Yes,
are.
yes.
And she gives us different stuff every time because they sponsor our events.
Yeah.
And really it just came about because we're there so often. I'm like, we do this thing with entrepreneurs. And she's like, we will sponsor all your events. And I was like, I love you.
Nice. That hospitality goes a long way.
It does.
In business, going above the extra, just doing a little extra, a little more caring.
Yeah.
How can we be over caring?
Yeah.
That shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
But,
don't care
you're,
what you
you're
know.
rooting and you're raving about her business because of the small things that she does.
Yeah, like she wanted to see like our wedding pictures from like the bathing suit wedding pictures, and just like
She said, "Let me see the rubber duckies."
she like sits down at the table. She remembers your name and I watch, and it's with everybody that comes in there. So
That's a skill.
yeah,
That's a real skill.
Yeah.
I struggle with names sometimes.
that's all right.
It's one of those things. I'll know your face, and I know you. But where?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so that's breakfast. What about dinner?
Ooh, dinner spots. Nick's smiling back there. He's got the list.
Yeah.
So we really love Thai food. A tried and true. So after every Winter Circle event, so you're gonna know our secret spots. We go to Lemongrass on Central.
Yes, great spot.
So great. I mean, great food. People there are awesome. We love that spot. Let's see. What other spots do we go to?
If those two are your two,
Oh, see, okay. He's a huge fan of 11 Chicks.
I have never even heard of it.
Oh my gosh, we are gonna rock your world. So 11 Chicks Yummy Creations.
Okay,
It is on, I don't know, I think it's on MLK.
Google it.
Yep, sure. Google
Yep,
it. It's an arepa restaurant. So it's a Venezuelan family that runs this little hole-in-the-wall place, and they make these delicious arepas. So it's
I don't even know what that is.
it's like a corn kind of pancake, if you will.
Okay.
2 corn pancakes. Nestled inside of the corn pancakes are like meat and plantains and sometimes beans. Like they do chicken and pork and beef and sometimes like a fried egg.
And what's it called?
11 Chicks.
Yeah, 11. But what's that?
Arepa.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's neat. I like that. We haven't heard of that one yet. That's. Oh, all right, Dom. Listen, I'm glad you know where it's at. Is it on MLK? I don't remember what street I was on, but I've seen it.
I think it is on MLK.
Okay, got it. Well, that's cool. Okay, so we got City's Bistro, Lemongrass, and 11 Chicks.
Yeah.
Why do they call it 11 Chicks? Do you know? That's a good question. Maybe we gotta find that out. They might have to come on here and tell us about that.
I feel like I knew the answer to that. I think they have like 11 different arepas on the menu.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
But I could be wrong. Ask them.
Totally wrong. Yes. So what do you think about the direction of St. Pete and where it's headed? There's sometimes that's some people have mixed reviews about that.
Yeah, I personally I kind of love where we're going with things. Like I said earlier, kind of the thing that I love about St. Pete is, I don't know if you know this, but it ranks 100% on the inclusion scale. So there are actually scales that people look at cities and they say, what is the level of, inclusion and diversity and things like that. And I was just delighted to find out that St. Pete ranks 100 on that, and so I know that a lot of times change can feel really scary to a lot of people, and it creates a level of uncertainty. But I truly believe that, we are changing for the good in this community. And there's a lot of good people that really care about the direction that this community is going. And so I tend to look a little bit on the bright side when it comes to that and trust that, those people are the ones that are going to kind of move things forward.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I'm overflowing with optimism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think change is inevitable. Enjoy it now, enjoy it later.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And if not, move.
There you go. Right? Make more room for us.
Right. You got more room. There's more people that want to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think we're missing?
Ooh, what is St. Pete? Okay, so we're going to come back to food. Okay. When I moved to California, something that blew my mind was the Mexicali Mexican food. Okay. I came back to Florida. This is the one thing that I've been sad about is I have yet to find a comparable, incredible, amazing Mexican restaurant.
What's the gas station place?
Yes, Chili Verde.
Yeah,
that's the closest.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking because I haven't been there yet, but people have talked about that place a couple times on the show.
It is the bomb.
Okay,
so that is the closest thing.
But it's not quite to your standards.
I mean, look, I don't have anything bad to say about them because they are amazing. But there is just, I don't know, there's something a little different about.
Yeah, I think out in that part of you're just a little closer to Mexico. Maybe it's a little more authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
But I do practice my Spanish with those guys when I go in there. Yeah, a little bit.
That's good. Good for you. I know just a little. That's one thing. I was just recently in Portugal, and you run across so many people in Europe that speak 3, 4, 5 languages, and it just makes me feel dumb. It really does. We might speak the universal language of the world, but not everyone speaks English, and I feel like from a intellectual standpoint, when you hear others speaking in different, I don't know, it's just interesting to me.
Yeah, it is interesting. So, fun fact, both of my parents are American, but my mom's family were world travelers and world traveling philanthropists. So my mom was actually born in Caracas, Venezuela.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, and she lived there for 5 years, her first 5 years of life, and so her first language was actually Spanish.
Nice.
So, and this is setting up to say that I don't speak Spanish. No.
I thought you were about to tell me, so I grew up in a Spanish household. Yeah.
Well, but when I was a little girl, my Nana, my mom's mom, would teach me little Spanish songs. And I remember picking it up so easily as a little kid. I remember being 5 years old, and I had this moment where what I meant to say in English was so, but all I could think was así, así. I didn't know how to say it in English.
Right, you're like, there's no word for it in English.
Yeah, but I've since lost that, but Duolingo is my friend.
Oh, yes, for sure, for sure. And you're right, when you're younger, the brain, it's just easier. There's not as many bad habits or things in the way to, I don't know why, I just went on that tangent about language, but it's just, some things I think about, especially after traveling, and you're like, man, I suck. Is what it is, but it's part of our culture. I wish we were different. I think. Yeah, and I think that people in other cultures, at least in my experience, even if you're not perfect, they appreciate if you try. Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely do. And even to bring it back to St. There's a lot of people in St. Pete that are from different countries here, and it's there's all these different communities of tons. I don't even want to start naming them. Right, but the micro community of, I don't know, people from Colombia over here and the Venezuelans over here, whatever, so it is inclusive as you say. You're right. Yeah, God, love this place.
Me too.
Yeah. What other cool things? I mean, growing up here, is there any spots or anything that's oh, this is what we did growing up, or spots that we went to that are still around or staples?
Ooh, man. It's so funny. I keep coming back to restaurants. Apparently, we all like food.
Well, yeah, that's honestly, I think about that because of going through this now. This is like what 38, 39. I don't know what number this is, and I think food is such a staple of culture.
Yeah,
and it is a big culture piece of St. Pete, and why I think this city is doing what it's doing, because there's no chains downtown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have this other little spot that's owned by this person, and they got a story, and they brought this kind of cool food in, and they did this twist, and there's this popcorn spot, and there's this, there's all these different cool things revolving around food.
Yeah. So one of the things, like my dad's favorite spot, because he's over in Largo, so he's out of St. Pete. So this is a little out of our jurisdiction here. But there's like this restaurant on the beach called Jimmy's on Clearwater Beach. And they have live music a lot of the time. And like the ocean is right there. Like you're just on this deck outside, And so I have a lot of good memories like with my dad of, just going out to eat and talking about business and this and that. The other thing, and again, this is in Tampa, so a little outside of...
Oh, be careful.
I know. But growing up, I was a wakeboarder. And so there is a place called McCormick Ski and Cable Park in Seffner.
Yes.
Okay. It's off of the Mango Thanota-Sassa exit. Mm-hmm. And they have this giant suspended cable system over a lake. And so what they do is they like hook up these ropes with handles to this cable system. They have like an operator that does it. And you like have to jump off and time it with your wakeboard. And it takes you around this lake. And there's like jumps and there's like slides and all sorts of things.
It's so cool you bring that up. So we did that while I was in Portugal.
You did?
Yes. And one of the guys that we were with was from Germany, and he knew of that exact cable park that you're talking about in Zeffner. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Because he was like, yes, you have to go, man. However, and it's, you got to go check it out because it's way bigger over there than it is here.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, so I went out to McCormick's on day 3 of them opening the cable.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so they're like world renowned for skiing. Mm-hmm. And they have like a skiing lake, but they were one of the first to have an actual cable park. And so I was there day 3. They were just getting set up and like went for probably 13 years straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're pretty good.
I used to be. My wakeboard is very dusty in the garage.
Yeah, might need to brush it off. Let's see what's good. I thought it was a lot of fun, and unlike like being behind a boat, the wave was cleaner.
Yes.
Not as much chop going on. You could actually like feel where your weight was in the board and jumps. Yeah. Oh, I hit some. I didn't land any of them, but we have some video of that.
We'll have to go sometime.
Yeah, I'm down.
Nick's never been.
Oh, we'll go.
Yeah.
I'm down for anything that's
so
dangerous
fun.
and adrenaline filled.
I'm
there.
Good.
Yeah, I'm there.
I'm going to have to teach you how to do a railie off the dock.
Sure. Yeah.
It's where you like jump out like Superman with your board behind you and then like...
yeah. Well, we're face planting off that one for sure.
Yeah. It took a long time to learn. I don't know if I can still do it. So it might be real fun.
Yeah. No, that's cool. It's so crazy you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because I would have no idea what you're talking about. I heard from someone across the pond.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, well, that's a neat, fun thing. I was just thinking, with the winner circle, what's next? Where do you see the vision? Where's that going?
Really what our vision is for the winner circle is we want an eclectic group of entrepreneurs because where I've had the best success myself and with clients that I've worked with is cross-pollinating strategies from other industries. So we want a variety of different industries and businesses so it can create that true mastermind feel of like taking something from a different industry and cross-pollinating.
Right.
So our vision is in the next 12 to 24 months to have a group of 50 to 100 entrepreneurs that come to our events every month that are growing their businesses, that are learning and growing and sharing, and to just kind of elevate the community in that way.
Yeah, I love that. It's really good. I love the cross-pollination and great minds come together. You're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So to have those little groups that you can go and be like, whoa, who am I hanging out with? I did a little audit of my life recently. I sat down one evening and I was writing through the goals and vision, and there's a lot, right? There's a lot of moving parts, and I was literally wrote out, okay, who do I spend the 5 people I spend the most time talking to, and who are the 5 people I'm physically around the most, and out of those people, who can get me to the next level and align with my goals, and if they're not, like, okay, we got to audit the time. It's nothing about the relationship. It's just about the time.
Yep.
Right. And so it's funny that not funny, but it's very cool to have a group and be in St. Pete where there is so many people. You never know where your next conversation is going to lead you, where that next opportunity is going to come from that can take you to the next goal.
Yeah, one of the things that I loved running my martial arts school was I would have two different families that had no idea who each other were. Kids didn't go to the same school. Mm-hmm. They come to martial arts, right? And these parents are kind of like shoulder to shoulder watching their kids do martial arts, and they start developing a friendship. And to this day, I opened my martial arts business in 2006. To this day, I see on Facebook some of these families whose kids are growing up together, who's hanging out together, and I'm like, wow, like that wouldn't have happened if they hadn't come to the dojo. I see that same thing happening for the winner's circle. Mm-hmm. I want to see these relationships and partnerships and joint ventures. I want to see them turn into something, because I know that like attracts like, your energy attracts a similar energy. And if we get a bunch of people that are like-minded, that like really want to do positive things, I think that's where, kind of ground level change starts to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of power in that. So I'm interested. I'm on the outside of the circle. I want to be in the circle. How do I get in?
Yeah, so somebody can go to our website. Our entry level is just come to a live event, mm-hmm. right? The thing about the winner's circle is it is invitation only, because we want people who have successful businesses, who are, willing to contribute and who also want to grow. Mm-hmm. So the best way for us to kind of get in connection is to go to our website, which is thewinnercirclestpete.com, and RSVP to come to our next event. What'll happen after that is I will personally reach out. We're going to chat a little bit. I'm going to take the temperature of your business, see what you're at, see where your goals are at, and then I'm going to invite you to come, and then you get to just experience it. And if you have a good experience and you want to keep moving forward, we'll talk about it.
I like it. Okay, so find you at the winnercirclestpete.com. Mm-hmm. Where else can people connect with you?
Yeah, on social media. I'm on all the socials.
Yes.
Except for Twitter.
Which is now, is X? X. Yeah, what a thing.
I don't know.
Elon. What are you doing, buddy?
I don't know, man. I don't know. He likes these like very simple
he just does things to be funny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, you do you.
When you're that successful and like trying to go to Mars, you just do whatever, right?
Yeah. Who cares what Twitter's name is? I'm going to Mars.
What are your handles for social?
Yep. So you can find me on Instagram, Erica Vellanti with a V. And Facebook, same thing.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And then LinkedIn, same thing. My name's the same across the board.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay, winnercirclestpete.com. Erica, thanks for being on here. This was super fun.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see, I watch the community grow within the Winner Circle, watch the community grow of St. Pete, and see what's next for us. I wonder what the conversations will be that we'll be having in 12 months from now.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. If you made it this far, they need to comment a word below so we know. So Mom's definitely watching right now. We know, Mom. I see you. I see you, Mom. What should they comment if they made it this far?
What about winner?
Okay, winner. Put winner in the comments if you're still with us. We appreciate you. We love you. Share, comment, invite a friend to come check out Talkin St. Pete. Spread the word, spread the love, and we'll see you on the next one. Boom.
Awesome.
That was good.
That was great.
Yeah, appreciate you.
That flew. Time flew.
No, it does.